I saw the light in the end and ran for my life as hard and fast as I could. There finally seemed to be some hope after a series of unfortunate events that seemingly had no end. For the past couple of days, I was trapped, either in a containment unit or in my own body. Although freedom was just a couple of more leaps ahead, it seemed like I was already free within my body at least. And so, I closed my eyes to allow myself a moment of solace in which I could recollect all that had happened. Unfortunately, it had all began with a dream of having a better life, both for myself, my children, my parents, and of course, my beautiful wife. Almost a week ago, I was struggling to find jobs. I was working hard on my falafel stall in my hometown. What I took home at the end of the day barely amounted to $1 or $2. I had an education but no opportunity. And with what I made, we barely made ends meet. I kept struggling until, one day, a man came by my stall, and he seemed tense. "I'll get you an alternate shipment soon, boss, I promise." As I was packing his falafel, I could not help but wonder how amazing he must have it. Talking about shipments, my best guess was that he dealt in imports and exports. "Here is your falafel, sir. That will be 20. Keep the change," he said. I could not believe it. Who is rich enough to spare an 80 just like that? "Sir, could I have a word?" I was almost too scared to say anything further. "Go ahead, but make it quick. I do not have all day." I told him how I admire how well dressed he is and that he has a fancy car. I, on the other hand, have an education but can't seem to find a job. With 2 kids, a wife, and elderly parents, I had 6 mouths to feed and was desperate for employment. The man looked me up and down. He asked if I had any skills and I told him I am good with communication skills. He gave me a card and asked me to see him the following day at the address that it contained. I filled up with joy. I could not believe people as kind as he still existed. I rushed home and told my wife that there is hope. The following day, I dressed my best and went to the man's office. Surprisingly, it was not as grand as I had expected and was in a rather run-down place downtown. As I stepped inside, I saw him and 2 other men, along with a doctor. We had a short conversation to discuss my employment details, whilst the doctor gave me a free and thorough checkup. The package was very promising, and although the job was demanding, I was excited about the opportunity. There was one problem: the job was not in my home country. I was told that I had to move to Europe. But since I had never been abroad before, I rejoiced at this exciting new beginning. When asked if I would be aided in acquiring a visa, I was told that there was no time for one since the position was vacant and they needed someone urgently. If I wanted to use a visa, they would give the job to someone else. It was decided that I would be trafficked instead. I was reassured that I need not worry. All I had to do was cooperate and the rest would be up to them. I was a bit skeptical at this point, so I told them I would think about it and went home. That night, as I sat with my family, I realized I had missed a day's worth of earnings, and there was nothing for dinner. Looking at my children's hungry faces, I made up my mind. I was going. After all, How bad could it be? My uncle went abroad illegally and sent back a handsome sum every month. His children were not only well fed, but also well educated. If I could not find a job in my country, I should, at least, explore opportunities elsewhere. And so I went inside my room and called the man immediately. I was ready. I was told to meet him by the harbor in 2 days' time. 2 days later, I went to the harbor and met him there. It was around midnight, and all except 2 guards were missing. The 2, apparently, were in cahoots. However, there were about 10 more men, just like me. I was told that each of them was given a different position in the company. At this point, I began to wonder. But after I told them that I was having second thoughts, one of the guys proceeded to punch me in the stomach, whilst another pulled a gun. I had no choice at this point. They locked us inside a container, and off we went. For 2 days, we had no water and no food. Then came a light. The container opened after I heard a loud thud. We were placed on a much smaller boat. There were armed men on the entire deck. I immediately understood what was going on. I had watched documentaries. 700,000 people are trafficked every year, and I was one of them.